Hey everyone, welcome back to Tell Me Sis. This is where I tell you all about the fun I had over the weekend and teach you something you might not have known before. So, okay, let's just get into it because I had so much fun this weekend. So, the Best Friends Club, which consists of John Thompson, Latasha Davis, and Willow Jean Baptiste, established in 2010. We went on a date to see Dave Chapelle. Okay, I know Dave Chapelle is problematic, okay, but we used to watch his comedy specials back in the day. And, we just needed an excuse to go out and have fun, right? So this was the perfect one. So we all meet up at Tava Indian cuisine, which I had been trying to go to like a few times. And it was always closed. So we went. The food was delicious. The drinks were delicious. The service was lovely. We sat outside. There was like wings and like lamb. It was cute. So Willow had a great parking spot, and Rouse's is right by the Smoothie King Center, which is where the show was. So we go to Rouse's, we get a couple of beers or whatever, put them in the car. And we go and we walk to the show. And of course, I have a purse. And they're just not going to let me in. First of all, we get to the line. We haven't even gone through the line. Thank Jesus. When the lady was like, they're not going to let you in with that bag. And I was like, ugh. So we have to walk back to Willow's car. And apparently, a bunch of people had told me I was never going to get in with that bag on the way there. But I did not heed their advice. So they made fun of me on my way back to the car. But we go back to the car, I put my purse up, then we hit the show. I'd never been to the Smoothie King Center. It was large. There was a lot of people. We get to our seats. I think we saw like the last half of the last opening act. And then Dave Chappelle came on, and he was funny. Dave Chappelle is funny. But I just wish he would choose like some different topics to talk about. Like, these seem like the same old topics. Isn't there anything else going on? But you can't deny how funny he is. And we did laugh, and, there was some yelling and some heckling, I guess. It was fun. And then the show ended kind of early. So we went to Barrel Proof, where John had left his car the night before. So we go to Barrel Proof and have one drink. And the bartenders there are usually pretty attentive because I like Barrel Proof. It's cute. But they were just like kind of weird. It seemed like they were maybe on Molly or something. I don't know. Don't get me to lying, y'all. I don't know. But they finally take our order. We were a little antsy, you know what I mean? We were like, we're trying to have fun. But, so we go, we have our little drink, and we have our little chat, and then, we go home, and it was a really fun night. I think we probably all got home, like, around 11:30, so it was very grown up. And then, the next day, me and Paige, my friend Paige, decided we were going to have brunch, so we went to Katie's, and, we got the grilled oysters, and we got the cochon de lait pizza, and a couple of cocktails, yada yada yada. We were gonna kill time before Pal's opens at the bar because it didn't open till 3, and we're like, well, let's just go bowling. So we went to Rock and Bowl because we were in that neighborhood. We're mid-citying it. Let me tell you something. We were really bad at bowling. Like, there were several mini cutter balls. We quit. We got through one game, and we were halfway through the other game, and we were just like, no, let's just go. So we just went on to Pal's and had a couple drinks there, which was fun. I like Pal's, so I'm always trying to go there. Of course, we're still talking about Lord of the Rings. Is it a musical? This is a conversation we've had many times. And there's still a little bit of question there. But I think we both agreed that Paige is going to watch Lord of the Rings and not listen to the audiobook so as to save herself from having to listen to any more hobbits singing, which I can live with. And then me and Willow went and watched the Michigan game. Now, it's funny. It was a night game, which all the other games are like in the morning. So there's this old black couple that are really cute, and we say hi to them or whatever, but we finally like started talking to them. Turns out the wife was an OBGYN in San Francisco at Kaiser Hospital on Gary Street in 1981. The year I was born and where I was born. Yes, I was born at the Kaiser on Gary. I was like, did you deliver me? She looked me dead in my face and said, what month were you born? I said April, and she was like, oh, I got there like a few months later. I was like, oh, so close. So that was really fun. And Michigan won the game, so everyone was happy. And then on Sunday, we went, me and Cairo and Atlas. We met up with John and Mary and Frank and Louie and Annie, and we all went to the ice cream festival at the Broadside. And the kids had so much ice cream. I mean, there was slushies, there was frozen lemonade, there was ice cream balls, there was ice cream, there was everything. I'm surprised no one threw up. But they had a little band, and they had a little DJ, and we stayed till the wee hours. Me and Annie were kicking it after John and Mary left, and all in all, it was a chill weekend, right? It wasn't like boom, bang, but it was way, way, way fun, because grown-up fun is fun too. You don't always have to be going to the club. Okay, girls. Just kidding. But anyways, back to what we're going to learn today. So I always love ancient Egypt. A lot of us grew up learning about ancient Egypt, the pharaohs, the pyramids, the Sphinx. We all know how it goes over there in the ancient Egyptian world. It's been depicted in film and TV, and that was making me wonder, who was the first pharaoh? Like, is there a first one? Because there's like 30 dynasties and all kinds of stuff. So there is a first pharaoh, y'all, and his name is Narmer. So now look, I got my notes because this is like a lot of info. So if you see me looking over, just know I'm trying to have the info correct. So back in 3100 BC, Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt were two separate kingdoms, and one man, Narmer, he was the ruler of a town at the time called Thinis. And he decided he was going to get a bunch of tribal leaders in Upper Egypt to join him to go conquer Lower Egypt. They called their confederacy of tribal leaders the Thinite Confederacy, if you must know. So Narmer goes at the head of the army, and I guess he just beats them down, y'all. Like, he beats down Lower Egypt and takes over. And this is where he unites Lower and Upper Egypt into, the dynasties and the landmass that we know today. He was a great war general, apparently. He invaded Mesopotamia, he invaded Nubia, he fought back against those peoples when they tried to invade Egypt. Narmer is known because of a palette. It's called the Palette of Narmer, or the Narmer Palette. So it's like, an engraving, hieroglyphics. And, in Egyptian hieroglyphics, the biggest person is the top of the hierarchy in that, picture. So this is how they know that Narmer was the first pharaoh. They have the Narmer palette, which is pretty much intact. There's pictures, you can go look at it. But basically, Narmer is depicted as, the biggest person. It depicts him beating back his enemies, cutting off their heads. And it depicts now what is it? The white crown of Upper Egypt, okay, which Narmer was from. He is depicted wearing the traditional white crown of Upper Egypt, which is called the hedjet. Thank you very much. On one side of the palette. And then on the other side of the palette, he's depicted wearing the red crown of Lower Egypt, which is called the deshnet. And if you didn't know, after this depiction on the palette of Narmer, in subsequent pharaohs are depicted with a combination of the two crowns, the red on the outside and the white on the inside. It's called a peasant. So as you can see on the palette, honey, he had the red and the white, and he brought it together, and he was the man. So he also married a princess from Lower Egypt to sort of combine the kingdoms, in love and marriage. Old trick, right? Old trick. Oldest trick in the book. He might have invented it though, because this is 3100 BC. So his wife gets mad love too. Her name is Nephthotep. And she was a bad bee, apparently. She might have even had ruled after he died for a little bit before her son took over, because they did have a son and heir, and he did become the Pharaoh of Egypt. His name was like Ashton or something, I forget. But look him up too, because I'm sure he was very interesting. But apparently, Narmer got a second name, an honorific, if you will. His name is Menes, was his second name, and that means he who endures. So this guy ruled Egypt for a long time as the first pharaoh. They said maybe 60 years. He founded the city of Memphis, and I'm not talking about Memphis, Tennessee. I'm talking about Memphis, Egypt. Memphis became a cultural and trading hub. It's a very important city in Egyptian history and civilization, and I'm sure it is today. So Narmer did a lot to unite this land, and it lasted. His contribution to Egypt is that it lasted thousands of years. His original, construct of putting these peoples together and ruling the land, that lasted for thousands of years, and he is enduring because we know his name. He has a whole thing, a whole palette. He's in the history books, so he might not have known that his shit was gonna last, but it did. It did. And it's one of the most important civilizations in history, and it all started with Narmer, baby, Menes, and so give him his flowers, y'all. And look him up, look up the palette, and look up his wife, and look up his son, and learn a little bit more. If you can, if you have the time. I know we're all busy. So on that note, like and subscribe. I will see you next time with some more dope information, and maybe I will have really cut up, and I'll let you in on all the juicy gossip. All right, till next time. Bye.